Now, Effective Communication with Phil Zeller, CEO, Dale Carnegie, Southwest Michigan.
Are you feeling overwhelmed today? Are you feeling as if you just can't keep up? You're running as hard as you can, and it's a sprint, but yet you're running a marathon. It's a little confusing. You with me on this? It's coming from all sides, and you're trying to make sense of all of it. Well, here's one for you. How do you eat elephant? How do you eat an elephant? Well, that would be overwhelming just to think about it, right? Well, the old saying is you eat an elephant one bite at a time. So what does that mean? One bite at a time. Breaking it down as you think about your life and you think about what you're going through right now. Oftentimes we're dealing with so much in our lives right now, so much change, and people are saying, I just want things to go back to normal. Well, what is normal? And what is the new normal? And a lot of us are saying, okay, well, where are we at on that? Where are we at on that spectrum? It seems like everything's a moving target these days. Well, we can find some solace in this. Here's some solace for you. And I often think about this to remind myself to stay humble and how insignificant that I really am in this world. If you think about it, we're spinning on this big sphere called Earth in outer space, and it's rotating right now. Yes, you are on this big, huge ball called Earth, and I put that out there because oftentimes I remind myself of that to put things into perspective for myself and to realize that, you know what, in the biggest thing called Earth, I'm just a speck. I'm not even an ant. You can't probably see me from out there, right? So this happens, though, but to us, the person, everything is on us right now, and it's our life, and it's our perception, is our reality. So we're constantly looking at how do we perceive the world. And if you are feeling overwhelmed right now, there are things that you can do. There's things that you can do to make sure that you're not overwhelmed. And what you really have to do is just like that elephant, you got to break it down. You got to break it down in chunks that you can handle. You know, think about moving heavy objects. You got to break it down in small enough sets of objects that you can move. And this is the same thing we have to do with our life. And oftentimes when I talk to people, especially really busy people that own their own business and have a family and they're very involved in the community and they have like 10 million different things going on, and you ask them how many hats they wear and they say, I wear 1 million hats. Well, maybe you're that person, or maybe the person that you're wearing 2 or 3 hats and you still feel overwhelmed. Either way, your perception is your reality. So what we want to do is we want to break it down. Break down your life. Now, we can start with the bigger chunks, right? Let's break out the work chunk. Let's put that chunk over here. Let's put that in one bucket. Let's put another bucket over here of your home life and everything you do with your home and your family, and put that in a bucket. And then let's put a bucket over here of your personal development, which is really you, your time, what you need to do for yourself. And then let's put a 4th bucket over here for your community and sense of community and the groups and the organizations and maybe your where you congregate with people with the same personal beliefs that you have in your religion. So as you look at about all these different buckets, and a lot of them overlap, there's no doubt they overlap, especially with your spiritual faith that could go through all the buckets. But in this instance, when you break it down in these major buckets, you now start to manage it. So let's take, for instance, your work bucket. Think about what you do every day and what you choose to do as a career or work, your job, and break it down. Now, this is not a new concept. Some of you are familiar with the term KPIs or KRAs. KPIs are key performance indicators, whether you're doing a job right or not or getting it done. You know, it basically tells you that. But I want to focus on the key result areas, the KRAs as they're called. And if you look at your work, what are you truly responsible for in the work that you do? And break that down into smaller buckets of your responsibility. And a lot of times people say, well, it seems like I'm overwhelmed by all the things I have to do. So there's a way to walk into this, and walk into this coming in backwards, which makes it easier, actually. We'll back into it. Get out a sheet of those sticky notes. So, you know, those little sticky notes, a big pile of sticky notes. And on every sticky note, write down one thing that you do, one task that you do per sticky note. And you're going to start putting tasks, return phone calls, send text messages, emails, and you're going to put all these tasks that you do on these sticky notes. And before you know it, you're going to have a pile of these sticky notes all over the place in front of you. And these sticky notes represent all the things you do in an average day. Then once you have those sticky notes all laid out, put them into, to separate them, put them into like categories, so similar type buckets. So these are now smaller buckets. And some of the, you may say, well, I do this in this bucket and I do this in this bucket. Well, you know, write the same thing down twice and put on 2 sticky notes, put it in both. But what you're going to do is you're going to divide and conquer all your tasks that you need to do. And when you do this with your work, You do this with your home life. You do this with your personal development, how you want to develop as a human being, and you do this with your community outreach. You're going to put everything in an organized standpoint so you won't feel overwhelmed. The benefit to you is that by setting these SMART goals, breaking it all down, you're going to grab control. You're no longer going to be overwhelmed, and you know what? You'll prioritize what's important to you, and you will make it all work. Now go make it happen.